Planning for accessibility from step one is not only logistically the easier thing to do, it's often the financially responsible thing to do. Retrofitting anything, whether it's a building or a program or whatever it is that you might be developing, adding accessibility after the fact is oftentimes more time consuming and more costly. So if you're building a new space, right, or if you are developing a new program or you're purchasing equipment, considering accessibility right from step one is going to save you time and money down the road, guaranteed.
Okay, so I think with planning, I think it's really important to contact agencies, for example, like here at Canadian Hearing Society, and getting feedback from outside agencies that have that experience before they go ahead with, if they're setting up new buildings. Or for example, if they are new construction, the people who are designing that building, make sure that they have had contact with agencies that have that background so that they can provide that advice beforehand. For example, like making sure that there are visual fire alarms set up because it's a safety issue, making sure that there are large LED screens for displaying announcements. Also for people who are hard of hearing, they may be able to hear some but not others. So making sure that there's lots of different technologies out there that match everybody's needs. If you have to set up a sound field so that it will enhance the hearing aids that they're using. So for that type of information, contacting the agencies, for example, like CHS, that has that background and can provide that advice ahead of time before they go ahead.
It's important to consider, accessibility when you're purchasing goods and services because you want to make sure that the users of your service are going to be have the same accessible treatment or accommodation that you've provided within your direct control. So for example, you've gone out of your way to make sure your space is accessible. You've gone out of your way to make sure that your documents are accessible. If you're now subcontracting to another service and they're not accessible, well, the same individual that was with you this week, now they're going there for that service and they're going to be met with numerous obstacles. Chances are, though, they're not going to necessarily blame that. They're going to blame you. They're going to say, hey, I'm part of this program that you said was accessible, and when I went there, it was not, right? So you really have to consider those things. You want, from step 1 to step 20, you want every step to be accessible along the way so that when you say you do provide an accessible service, that you mean it from start to finish.